I'll answer you if you promise me you won't get angry at me.
How terrible they could really be.
You are out of there. It's a tragedy in its entire world. Open history books. Look what happened.
Your brother's legitimately a hero, and I want everyone to hear about him.
Right. You know, when you say hero, you know, that's a word that people use, but in his case, he was an actual like warrior. Anyway, so about 4 years ago, Erev Yom Kippur, he's shopping for his family in Efrat, 20 minutes from Jerusalem, and a lovely Palestinian kid, 16-year-old Palestinian kid, came from behind and stabbed him in the main artery in his neck. At which point Ari was basically clinically dead. And somehow he was able to chase down the terrorist who was running after his next victim, a woman who had a falafel stand on that location, who had previously served this terrorist a falafel. He was now running after her, and Ari, literally in his last breath, ran after him, jumped over a wall, got down in shooting position and shot him, and then collapsed and died. So he was indeed rewarded the National kind of Hero Award, which, you know, I can't help but think my grandmother in Auschwitz, if you had told her that, you know, one of her grandsons would be a national hero of the state of Israel, I don't think she'd be able to even digest that information. But yeah, I mean, listen, you know, people talk about terror victims and not many people talk about what it does to a family. And unfortunately, it really does rip up a family. But thank God we do what we can, but definitely not an easy thing to cope with.
Your brother is embedded in Israel now. Like, he's an Israeli hero now. And you've seen, I guess, firsthand the other side of like how terrible they could really be. You know, your love for Israel. And I've heard you talk about this online a lot, that just the beauty of living in Israel. Like, I'm a guy, I'm living in the 5 towns. Convince me why. I mean, you don't need to convince me, but like, what am I missing out on? And what do you feel like I'm doing wrong, that the fact that I'm not in Israel now?
Okay. I'll answer you if you promise me you won't get angry at me.
I'm asking for it. So go for it.
So let's start from the beginning. Number one, I'll be a good Jew and I'll answer your question with a question. Is there an event? Think about this question. Is there an event, any event, that if that event takes place, if that event happens, you are out of there? And let me just qualify that question. If there are anti-Semites in Congress, will that scare you? Because that's already done. If there are pop artists who are full-blown Hitler lovers, just declaring their love for Hitler on mainstream media, would that scare you? Well, that's happened. Jews being beaten up to death in the streets of Brooklyn. Well, that's happened. You know, should I go on? I mean, NBA players going full-blown anti-Semite. That's happened. So when we asked ourselves as kids, why the heck did the Jews not leave Germany when there were Nuremberg laws? They were legislating against you. What were they thinking? Well, now we know. We know. I mean, you know, you're comfortable in the 5 towns. I'm not judging you, by the way, because my parents brought me here. I didn't make any sacrifices. I'm a big talker, but what the heck are you waiting for? That's on the negative side, right? Anti-Semitism has never been this mainstream. It is scary out there. That's number one. Now, there are those that will say, oh, but Israel's dangerous. There's terror there. Dude, you don't need to tell me, okay? But let me just tell you one thing. Here's a statistic that my dad likes to say that I love. And this is a fact. You can look this up. You can do your research. There has never been a 75-year period since Churban Abayis, since the temple was destroyed, in which so few Jews have been killed. Let me just repeat that. There has never been a 75-year period since the destruction of the Second Temple in which so few Jews have been killed. What does that mean? That means that with all the terror, and every life that's lost to terror and to wars is a tragedy in its entire world. Having said that, take a step back, look at things in perspective. This country is defending us. And even if we're being attacked, it's up to us how we react and how we respond and how we defend ourselves. We're not at the mercy of another country. And when we are at the mercy of another country, open history books. Look what happened, right? No, it won't happen in America. I grew up saying that. Look what's going on now. I mean, literally, you 5 towns. I just got off the phone with a guy an hour ago in Englewood, in New Jersey, mainstream from neighborhood. He had scars from like anti-Semitic attack, physical scar. Like he was actually like, what has to happen? You know, so, you know, Israel it's our problem. It's how we deal with it. It's up to us. That's number one. But I don't want you coming to Israel for fear. That's not the right reason to come to Israel. What I will say is that when I was growing up, and probably when you were growing up, you know, to come to Israel, by definition, you have to lower your quality of life. By definition, you drive a less good car, make less money. By definition, you couldn't get tuna fish in this country. Now, and I'm not even talking about spirituality. That's another discussion. But materialistically, like, I'm living in Beit Shemesh, my entire neighborhood is Woodmere people. Rabbi Rosner is my neighbor, my rabbi. I'm sure you know him. I mean, working with unbelievable innovators, making good money, driving nice cars, living the life. I do not feel, in fact, not only do I not feel, I know that my friends in the 5 towns, some of my best friends live there, and they're not living better. I'm materialistic. They're not living better lives than I am. Let alone spirituality. That's a whole different discussion. But my question is, again, as a good Jew, I'm going to answer you the question. You're asking me, why would you come? Why should you come to Israel? Or why would you come? My answer is, why would you not? What's stopping you? Like, again, you don't have to lower your quality of life. You don't have to worry about anti-Semitism. You're home, right? I heard someone say something beautiful. Someone said to me, you can succeed in America despite being a Jew. But in Israel, you can succeed because you're a Jew. And I love that. And someone else said to me something that I also loved, which is, he said, I made Aliyah. I moved to Israel not because I'm a Zionist, but because I'm a capitalist, right? Because when it comes to technology and business and innovation, this is where it's at. So I don't really truly understand American Jews who are just with their head in the sand saying, no, everything will be okay. Everything will not be okay. We know what's going to happen. Who are the most liberal people in America today? Jews. We're ideologically lost. Assimilation, it's right. And then there's the other type of gadlus. Hanidachim eretz Mitzrayim. We're persecuted. Mitzrayim, Nazi Germany, Greek, Roman. We were the most comfortable people in Germany. The most. And not only were we the most comfortable, but we were the most assimilated. We were saying to the Germans, dude, we're just like you. Stop it. Like, we're just like you. And that's when anti-Semitism always shows its ugly head, because God is saying, in my opinion, stop it. You're not just like them. And if you don't remember that, I'm going to remind you. God forbid, I'm not implying that the Holocaust happened because of assimilation. God forbid, I would never say such a thing. But the point is, you look when our quote unquote light goes out, when we're like, we don't want to be the light unto the nations. Let us just be like them. Then the nations say, dude, I need your light, because without your light, you're the lighthouse. And without your light, our ships are lost at sea. We need your light. You want to put out your light? We'll remind you who you are. We also said growing up, never again, right? We always said never again. And the truth is, never again. It will never happen again, but only because of one reason. Not because of America will prevent it from ever happening again. The only reason that never again is an accurate statement is elal.com. That's it. That's it. Because we can get on a flight and come here. Because if we didn't have Israel, you better believe it'll happen again, because it's already happening again. So, we are very fortunate to have Israel. And I think that, I'm making a generalization, but I think many times American Jews are like, they have it in the back of their head. They're like, I can go there if it hits the fan, right? Don't wait. Don't wait. We're here with open arms. Like, come home.